But if I'm kind of like bouncing and I'm using my hands to balance, it's going to be a lot more likely for him to drop down in the contact and curl behind like this. Hello, in this video we are talking about how to fix curling. So curling is basically where your horse goes behind the vertical, they drop the contact, and some horses do it more than others. Mercurio here, he's a little PRE and he likes to curl. Horses tend to either want to be above the bit and hollow or curl. Either one of these positions isn't correct because when your horse curls, what happens is that the hind legs go out behind them. You can't really turn, you can't control the tempo, and it's just not a good feeling. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to improve and fix a horse that curls. Also, check out the description. I'm doing a free 5-day riding boot camp. So regardless of what problem you're having with your horse, it's going to be a super fun and exciting 5 days, and there's going to be a lot of information to help you with your horse. Okay, so step one is if your horse is curling behind the contact, it's always important to first think about your seat and your position, because the more that you are riding from your seat with an independent hand, the more your horse is going to balance on their hind legs and stop curling. So Mercurio tends to canter or to curl the most in the canter. So let me just go up to the canter and show you how important your seat is in this. So if I'm not using my seat, so if I'm kind of like coming off of my seat, oh gosh, I can't even stay in the canter. But if I'm kind of like bouncing and I'm using my hands to balance, it's going to be a lot more likely for him to drop down in the contact and curl behind like this. So the first thing you always want to check if your horse is curling is your position and your alignment. So getting a straight line from your ear, your shoulder, your hip, your heel, and really think about your seat. So your seat is the most important part of your position, and your seat is going to help to get the correct contact and to get your horse a little bit more balanced back onto the hind leg. Boy. The second thing to fix curling is to establish a very steady contact, because a lot of times if you have a horse that doesn't curl and your horse is too stiff and above the contact, you want to move the bit and kind of vibrate the bit, ask him to flex a little bit. But if your horse wants to curl, keep your hands very steady. So see how my hands are just super steady? I have a nice feel of his mouth. And then the other thing that really helps with curling is, once your hands are steady, is to do some lateral work. So if I have a horse that curls, riding leg yields can really help with the curling, because what a leg yield does is it connects your horse from the inside leg and into the outside rein. So I'm going to turn off the quarter line here. I'm going to put my inside leg on, and I'm going to connect him into the outside rein. So it's inside leg to outside rein. Good boy. The other thing is, if your horse is really curling, sometimes you can lift your hands up and then give. So if they're just like really going behind the bit and you can't get their pull up again, lift both hands up, but then make sure to put your hands down and give. And that when you do that, your seat stays super connected. Good boy. But it's really important that you fix the frame, but you also think about engaging the hind leg. And that's where the leg yield comes in. So I'm moving him off my inside leg, I'm getting him into the outside rein, and then if he curls, I lift up my hands for a moment or two, and then I put my hand back down. But again, notice my seat. When I lift my hands up like that, my seat is staying perfectly connected. My contact is staying very steady and inviting. Now I'm doing the leg yield off my right leg, so I'm moving him from my right leg. If he curls too much, I'm going to lift my hands up and then put my hands back down. Good boy. Good boy. Steady tempo, steady contact. Good boy. Good boy. And then another great exercise if your horse curls is transitions. So transition to canter, canter, trot, canter transitions. That's another one. And again, I'm really thinking about my seat. Good boy. Steady contact. My seat is super connected in the saddle. Boy, transition to trot. Oh, pull my tummy in, lift up, and then hand forward and give. Half halt and canter. Good boy. Steady the contact. No, don't curl. But so with Mercurio, when he curls, it's an evasion for using his hind end. Good boy. Some horses go above the bit, some horses curl behind the bit. Some of it is because of their conformation. Mercurio is pretty round, compact horse. He kind of comes out of the barn already on the bit. Good boy. Good boy. But honestly, I think it might be harder to fix a horse that curls than it is to fix a horse that is hollow or stiff or above the bit. Hands up, sit in, half halt, and then give. The other thing that Mercurio does, especially when he starts to curl, is he also tends to rush. So you really want to be mindful of the rhythm and the tempo and make sure that your horse isn't rushing when they curl or slowing down. Good boy. Because the reason that we ride with contact and the reason that we want our horse to be on the bit, we don't want our horse above the bit, we don't want our horse to be curled behind the bit, is because contact is what allows us to establish connection and to get our horses engaged and correctly using their top line. Half halt. Good boy. So it's super important if you have a horse like Mercurio that wants to curl, that you're always thinking about riding with your independent seat so that you can make little adjustments with your reins and really maintain a steady contact. Good boy. Good boy. So I hope this gives you some ideas if your horse curls. It definitely is a challenge to fix, but it's so important that you get your horse on the bit in that nice frame so that then you can engage the hind leg. Once again, I hope you'll join my free riding boot camp. It's going to be so much fun. And if you're having a problem with your horse, whether it's curling or they're hollow or they're above the bit, I'm going to give you all the solutions you need inside the boot camp.